and welcome everyone to the fourth episode of the Book of Boba Fett Spoilercast. I am Mitch as always. You can follow me on Twitter at 693tweets, and of course, I'm joined by Sean.
And you can join me at Marvel the Martian _12 on Instagram. Hey, you getting it right so far.
I have.
Pause.
Yeah.
Good.
It does. My brain does have to think about it for a second.
It's a rhythm thing. That's all.
I feel like if I try and say my handle how I said it originally with the old handle, it makes it a lot easier. It's just kind of hard to get that like pitch change to be the same as I did before, but it'll get there. It'll come.
A couple more episodes, it'll be
So my old man brain will learn a new trick soon, hopefully. But yeah, this is episode 4, isn't it? I know I said 4, but I'm just trying to remember.
I believe so. Yes.
Is it 4?
Yes.
I was like, it doesn't help that the ones before they're just that boring. God, I have to get something in there. They've just merged into one. But this one, this to me, minus the ending with how it ends, I think that final scene, or at least the dialogue anyway, you change that and you'd be fine. This should have been the first episode.
Yeah.
Like if you start this off with him getting out the Sarlacc pit flashback, and then the rest of this episode, I think more people will be talking about this show.
Yeah.
And then you go in, maybe not go into straight to the boring crap, but like you the boring crap comes after this stuff. I think it would have been a bit easy to take, whereas you've had to sit through a month to get to this stuff. And it's just like, okay.
Yeah. The famous, Slave One? Is it not Slave One anymore?
Oh, this is the thing. I don't think they've ever said Slave One once.
It probably makes sense because it sounds kind of bad.
I'll say it's a bit of. I don't understand how people get. I mean, I understand the attachment to not wanting things changed. I understand that. But when it comes to a name like that, it's a bit of a.
Yeah.
What? Just. It's at the end of the day, it's a name. Just it's a ship. It doesn't matter. Get rid of it.
Well, I mean, it doesn't sound good when you got your ship named Slave One. Like, especially nowadays, it's not exactly. I don't want to say PC.
I mean, even back then, it's kind of like it's just weird. Couldn't anyone realistically see this episode playing out with Boba Fett going, "We have to get to my Slave One"? It doesn't sound good. It's not a good name. It is ignoring the fact that it's misinterpreted. Even the fact that it's called slave, just that word, ignoring every connotation that thing has, it's not a good name for a ship.
I think the character, whoever Finnick would just look at him as like, how many slaves do you
exactly
have?
Just be like,
I think this partnership has ended.
So you're trying to rule with respect? Like, are you sure?
It's like, I think you're gonna get canceled, Boba. So.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard the name.
I also saw this thing. Apparently, it was always like the fire spray's been a model of ship in Star Wars since like the 80s.
Yeah.
Or something like this one. So it's kind of. I don't care. I didn't care about Boba Fett before. I always thought the ship looked weird. It's just
I always thought it was unique.
It flies weird. It's a really weird design. It's like a helicopter for Star Wars. Like helicopters are cool. They shouldn't fly.
Yeah, I love the sound effects that it makes.
I was going to say
farting noise.
So I'm going to be jumping around it here. When they're like doing that really cool bit, like they're just hovering above the Sarlacc pit, and like just before, and she then drops that bomb from the prequels. I hate the prequels. That noise, that seismic charge. It's such a good noise.
Yeah, I think the other day I don't really watch the prequels all that much, but like those scenes where it's him and Obi-Wan fighting, it was in the in space when he's like sitting off the
asteroid belt.
Yeah, I think googled that and watched
It's
that
just
for a couple.
such a good noise.
Yeah, the sound
That
design
boom.
and the sound design and sound choices for the ships are always unique. It's a very unique sound to a ship because I don't think you've ever heard that sound with any other ship.
No, because it sounds like it's chugging.
Or farting. It
Chugging,
kind of
yeah.
chugging or
Chugging,
farting.
farting, yeah. I mean,
Maybe
I'd
both.
equate that to the same. It's the same.
Chugging or farting. Whatever you prefer, chugging or farting. But yeah, I always love that. Like, every time I see that ship, I always wait for that sound, the sound design for the sound effect for that. So, but yeah, I mean, this was a pretty. I think it.
I mean, the plot
pretty,
finally showed up. Like,
cutting. Yeah.
I'm
No defense
going to be punching the crap out of Boba Fett until I get something good out of it, which admittedly is right now. But I always got to, you got to teach it a lesson, didn't you?
And we finally get to see the fate of Bib Fortuna too. So
I mean, didn't we see that in
I can't
Mando?
remember. I think so. Maybe, I don't know.
Because that was the announcement for the show where he walks in and just goes, "Tew," and the fat Fortuna just falls on the floor. Like,
I'm an old guy with smooth, no wrinkles on the brain. So yeah,
but because that bit stood out because they did some weird like filter color grading on that flashback.
Yeah.
And it's like it looked, I don't know, it looked flat. There was something off about it. Admittedly, I'm struggling to remember the episode. It's only been 2 days, but I enjoyed it. But I've just I watched Grave of the Fireflies last night, so I'm kind of a mess of a human being right now.
Well, plus, the only gripe I had about the episode is like it was really dark. it was super.
In fairness, when he's getting the ship, yeah, it's dark. When they're trying to fly out, I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Well, that in the camping scene, and I understand it takes place at night, sure, but like I did love the day scenes of like him taking down the speeder gang, with, like just the looks on the speeder gang's face, like
that was a fantastic shot. It's just like, yeah, you get him, Bubba.
Yep. Yeah, and I go back. I love that ship design. So weird, so unique. Like
it's recognizable. Like the second
it's
that,
like,
even before it shows up and you hear it, it's like, I know whose ship that.
Yeah, it's like the look of Boba and the ship are the two things that come out that stand out when you say Boba Fett. Like those are literally the only two things you think of when you before the show happened. It's like, oh yeah, that ship, sure, yeah, and I love this episode, especially the flashback of how he saved Fennec. Like explains why she's alive.
It should have been the first episode.
Yeah.
Because part of me, like, I didn't even, obviously I something's happened there, but in my brain just like thought we'd already seen all that, and then when it starts in this episode, I'm like, oh, we haven't seen that. That's right.
Especially when he gets to the ship, I think that's the whole. I think that's the best part of the episode is like when he gets the ship, he takes the speeder gang, and then like that's the two memorable parts, in the show, and in this episode, anyways.
Well, it's 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
No.
That infiltrating.
Everyone's talking about spoilers, Mando right now. Which, unfortunate for Boba Fett, but Mando has kind of taken over as the Mandalorian right now.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing why that's the case is like because Mando's so new. Even.
I mean, he also has a character. I know Boba Fett kind of has one now, but he didn't have one before. He was just a cool look. Whereas Mando has a character. He's come in here. He's just swept.
And it
really helps. The music in these shows are fantastic. So everyone knows that little.
Yeah, it's like the old gunslinger, walking into the saloon, sound. I don't know. Does Boba Fett have that
I mean, he
That's
has
like,
the music in this.
yeah. Well, I mean, like he now has a theme, yeah. So
Yeah, which
like, but like,
slaps, by the way. Like, god damn. Like, if there was one thing about this show, it is the music. It's so good.
yeah. Remind me, I'm old. What does slaps mean? I have no
Slaps
idea
is
what that
good.
is.
Slaps is like
Okay,
fire. No, it's good.
I'm not 80
I
year
don't know.
old.
I'm not young enough to know fully. It's just kind of you watch and you see people use it and like you take it from context. You're like, okay, that's a good thing.
Oh man,
I don't know exactly what it is. I just know it's a good thing. It's like that.
I
That's
feel
like.
super old right now because like you said that I was like, what does that mean? I have no
I
idea.
guessed
Like,
that from the silence. Like you could hear the hamster
that
running.
shows my
Yeah,
cars,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I am old. Yes. Um. Yeah. I love the look of this ship too. Like how it looks really old and it hasn't been moved. Like the wear and tear on
Right. Yeah,
I
right,
gotta be
right, right,
honest,
right,
dude.
right.
I got a little. My heartstring kind of got pulled a little bit when I seen the show. The
Yeah.
ship. I was like, oh, finally,
It's just a cool ship.
the
But
the
right,
sounds.
I have a question. I've had this
Yes.
conversation with people before. How long was he in that Sarlacc pit?
Okay, so
Because
we kind of
he says a couple of years or the years or something like that. He specifically uses the word years.
years, yeah. And I'm assuming that the Starlight digests pretty slowly.
That's
So
what I thought, but I'm going to edit that bit out.
my bad. Yeah, that's the one F word. Um, so I'm assuming that the Starlight digests like really slow, like just by the
Yeah,
look of the stormtrooper, you know, like it.
I say that was my understanding. It's like a Venus flytrap. It just takes a while.
Yeah, and I don't know how many years has passed since Return of the Jedi. Did they ever
I
say like the
have
time frame?
no idea. I have no idea.
That's, man, I am a bad employee.
If this
Um,
was Marvel, I could tell you straight away. Star Wars, I haven't got a clue.
yeah, I don't. I mean,
It also
uh,
helps Marvel's like, hey, we take place in current year, so you can go,
yeah,
oh,
that's
cool,
true.
well, that was 2018, so yeah, add
So I
five.
mean, yeah, like I'm sure Star Wars is like some crazy, parsec or you know, two cycles from some something like that. I don't know. Like that's a good question. I mean, I'm assuming that maybe 3-4 years. Maybe I don't.
Right.
Like
When Fett and Fennec are trying to take over a crime empire happens in roughly 9 ABY, so after the Battle of Yavin.
yeah, but
About 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So he's been in there. Right. So that's
uh,
5 years after. When does
that must be
Mandalorian take?
holy
When
smokes.
does
That's
Mandalorian take place?
terrible to hear.
So yeah, he's been in there for roughly 5 years. I got someone in our Discord I need to talk to. Just be like, oi, been 5 years.
That's terrible. That's so
That
bad.
is horrendous.
Yeah. I mean, what do you
That's
do for five
horrendous.
years? Just look at the guy that's like disintegrating in front of you for 5
Yeah.
years?
I mean, shout out to Beskar.
Yeah.
Stuff holds up.
I mean, at the
So
very
I
least,
kind of
now they have,
question how the fabric held up, but that's neither here nor
it's a very
there. That's
minute
fine.
detail.
That's fine. That's fine.
But it explains, like, man, he must have been, yeah,
That
no
is
iPad.
horrendous.
No
5 years
wonder,
stuck in a melty vagina. Like, that's horrendous.
no wonder he has nightmares and flashbacks. Man. Like
Yeah,
that's.
yeah.
I'm
The
surprised
guy's
he hasn't seen his pictures.
traumatized.
Like,
I'm
I mean,
surprised he's
even
not
being,
hooked on those sand lizards and getting high all the time.
yeah,
Like,
I was gonna say, like, I'm surprised he doesn't have a addiction problem at this point,
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I love how they dealt with the Sarlacc though. They just dropped the seismic thing and then
Yeah.
boom, it just explodes from the inside out.
So part of me was really hoping they were going to pull it out the sand.
To get a look at what, yeah, I don't know if that ship
Yeah.
would have. That they
So
probably would
I
have pulled.
know there's that drawing of a sarlacc that's disgusting. It's like half plant, half like animal.
That's
Or
gross.
like lizard. It's like a weird. Oh, and
I think
it's
I
got
know
like
that.
these, like the stomach's actually where the mouth is, and then it's disgusting.
Disgusting.
And like the male was like a
Hentai.
parasite on the side. It's not quite. It's more. I mean, it's like a plant hentai, I suppose, maybe, but it's disgusting or whatever it is. And I don't know.
That's
I know I rag on Star Wars for having to explain everything, and then I turn around and be like, I want to know what it looks like. Like,
please tell me.
I'm
Yeah.
aware of my own hypocrisy. It's fine.
So, go now. What do you think? Where do you think this is gonna end? How do you think this is gonna end?
Well, I mean, I assume it's got to end with him being accepted. Is it the daimyo?
Daimyo, yeah.
Yeah. See, I remembered that because of the dolmio. If you don't know what dolmio is, it's like pasta sauce.
Yeah.
And I was like, daimyo, dolmio. I was like, haha, thank you, Italian pasta sauce. I
It's
appreciate it.
better than my Domo thing. Yeah.
I mean,
Makes
you
me
weren't
crazy.
far off with Domo. Like, daimyo,
It was something, yeah. But
It's only chuck in a couple more vowels, you're fine. It's probably not even daimyo, to be honest. I'm probably just way off. But yeah, I think it's gonna end with him riding that damn Rancor.
oh yeah, that's gonna be the
But
last scene, I'm sure.
oh yeah, it's gonna be him and the Pikes having that conflict, and whether everyone starts showing up and they play it really cheesily, I kind of hope they don't.
I hope they.
Like and this is like a Lord of the Rings thing where it's like you look to the east on the 12th day, and
Yeah.
over the crest of this hilltop, like is Fennec with all these people. But
I did like them bringing in. I can't remember his name, so don't scare
is it
me alive,
Thundercat?
guys. The Black Chewbacca.
Oh no, not Thunder. Black Chrysanthemum.
Yeah, they bring him into the fold.
I was waiting for because does he offer him a job in this?
Yeah, he said. I think that was the last
I know he's like you look like he could use a job, and that was it.
job. Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
was the end right there. You know, like him basically saying, looking at him, like, "You look like you can use a job."
Yeah.
That's adding muscle to your.
Yeah,
that's like, you know.
Wookiee.
Yeah, it's like I have two Gamorrean guards, but now I have this crazed Wookiee with like electronic you know.
And say with his taser knuckle
busters.
dusters that are damn spikes, like
I feel so bad for those lizard guys. Those lizard guys look terrifying. That poor one that he had in his hand.
It's the fact that he just starts crap for no reason. It's like they're just enjoying themselves. Like let
yeah. They should have been more like. I understand they're excited, but then you take a look over to a guy like this giant hairy thing that could literally snap your neck. You know, I would be.
I mean, he tears his arm off. No.
Yeah, but did you see the look of terror? I mean, I know it's a puppet. Don't get me wrong, but did you look at the eyes?
Yeah, it is really good.
I was like, I knew I cut like.
It's like, wow, this prosthetic has a soul. Like,
I mean, when he had that guy by his neck, and my wife was like, "Is he gonna let him go?" I was like, "No."
I mean, not all of him, but he does.
He does, but he
lets 90% of him go.
But when he's like looking, like he has him by his neck, and like the lady's like, "Don't do it. You know, I'll give you this. I'll clear your debt." And this poor lizard thing is going. He's not saying anything, but his eyes are saying everything, you know, where he's like looking. And I'm like, you know, my wife's like, is he going to let him go? I was like, no. He's going to, this guy's toast, man. But yeah,
he lived. He lives. That's fine.
Does he?
They'll just go to Thundercat and get a prosthetic because.
I thought he snapped that guy's neck.
No, he doesn't. He takes his arm, doesn't he?
He takes one of the arms, one of the other ones, but the other one that when she was talking to him, like she had he had one by the neck.
Yeah, but I thought the one with the neck is because I thought he just takes his arm off and then throws him away.
I mean, I might be mistaken, but I thought because
you hear like a weird crunch and a rip. And that's obviously the arm coming off.
I'm sure I'm gonna hear it in the comments, but
I mean, one of us is
but
right.
the,
Go either
the
way.
look of terror in that poor thing's face, man. I was just like, I feel bad for a puppet. You know, this is the first time I've actually felt really bad for a puppet.
I mean, there is a dude inside there.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, from the neck down, yeah.
I assume it's the neck down, and hopefully from the shoulder in. Like you don't want the arm
Yeah.
coming up.
But yeah, you know, it was good to see that character is going to come back too. Like you know, a while
Yeah,
back
I was, you know, even without knowing who he was beforehand, like you just see him. It's like, yeah, he's someone that's going to be sticking around. Like
yeah.
he looks too standouty.
Plus, a lot of the budget went into that costume. I don't think they're going to just do it for one episode.
Like you know, when you get like old animation or even like current animation where everything's painted, like, the background's painted, apart from the one thing that's going to move.
Yeah.
You can always tell what's going to move. That is Chrysanthemum in like the Star Wars. Like everyone is the painted background. He is that drawer that's going to get pulled out.
True. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's got a very unique
tell
look.
that someone's important. Like, yeah.
I mean, seeing that he's a Wookiee too, and like it's not like the Wookiee that you know is is a malevolent.
I say, is this the only other Wookiee we've seen in live action Star Wars?
Not counting the holiday special. Yeah, we don't count the holiday special. The holiday special is weird.
Yeah, that's true.
They
I
have a ton of Wookiees in that, but like
I really want to see it. I really want to see it just to say I have, but I haven't.
Maybe we could do it like a little in between, but like it's pretty bad. It's Life Day is not fun. And there's a reason why like he disowns that show. It's just it was a show that was contractually obligated to make, so that's why he made it. So, but
I really can't think if we've seen another Wookiee.
I don't. No,
obviously they've been in like Clone Wars
prequels.
Was there any?
Oh yeah,
of course, yeah. See, my brain just pushes the prequels out.
Yeah, it's a natural. That's a natural move.
I promise people I don't say things intentionally to get comments going.
I do.
Well, thank you for the engagement.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, but I mean, even in those, it's like 90% CG anyway. So like,
and they're all the same damn Wookiee. They're all just Chewbacca.
With the Chewbacca, with the exception of Chewbacca, I think they very less distinct. But yeah, I think this is the most standout-ish version of that, because he's so mean and ugly and snarly, and
I say he looks bad, like not as in not like as in personal, like good and bad, not like like the suit's bad, like no, he's a bad guy. Bad.
He's like a BA, like I mean, you could tell that he is like the he's like a biker gang member in his community.
Yeah, he's the guy that if you look at wrong, he's just gonna punch you in the tits. Like, there's no way around it. No.
Or just punch your head clean off your head.
Yeah.
With he's a bounty hunter. I mean, and I like the fact that like they do stuff like that, because it's like everybody thinks of Kashyyyk, the Wookiees and stuff like that as like, oh, they're nice and cuddly. It's like, not all of them. Some of them have been like slaves and had to fight in the gladiatorial pits and stuff. That's probably what shaped them into that like ugly person.
Well, they say that in this, didn't they? Like he's in the gladiator pits and all that.
Yeah. I see.
He comes across as the type of character that hasn't had a fight in a while and is kind of itching for one.
Yeah. For sure. Like I'm pretty.
I say he kind of comes across like that's the entire point. Like he's like, he's itching for a fight. So like, hey.
I mean, you look at him in the seat when he's drinking, and those guys are just making all that noise. He's just looking for a reason to just go over there, And he's like, he's already mad and pissed already, and like it just took that one little moment to just say, all right, I'm gonna walk over and just literally wipe these people off the table.
Speaking
But
of
yeah,
tables, I really like the fact that Boba Fett had that dinner party. I say dinner party, had the dinner over the Rancor pit.
yeah, that was a very
I was
like,
like, you sneaky bastard.
and I love the fact. I loved how the reaction of people when they found out it was under the Starlight Pit.
Yeah.
They're pretty quick to get up out of the seats really quickly, and
Yeah,
like
it's like,
just
no, it's fine. Sit down. Sit. Come on.
and like you
Like, so
don't
much for
know.
ruling out of, like, not fear, but respect. Like, that just struck
That's
fear. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say that that's a complete opposite of what you just did. You meant to do that. You knew.
it's all purposely done, so he's just on the, like, sitting on the edge of the door. Oh, that's great, and they're all over it. It's so well done.
I thought about this and I kind of chuckled, but do you think it would be hilarious if they played that whole scene and it was like just slightly different, where they didn't have the Rancor yet, but they just had a machine putting out the sound of a Rancor underneath and just kind of like blaring out from it. Just the fact that there's nothing in there.
It would have been really funny if they just dropped them in. Like,
Yeah.
there's no sound. They just dropped them in and watched the panic. It's like there's nothing down there.
it just
It's fine.
it,
Rancor died
but,
like 5 years ago.
but just to know that there was a baby one, that's even funnier. But
The baby
yeah,
one was coming.
yeah, he's coming back.
I can't
With a
wait for that. I'm such a.
I'm
I've been
waiting for
baited by nostalgia so hard with the Rancor.
I'm waiting for the I'm waiting for the moment where Danny Trejo comes. I just made this leather um seat for you to sit on.
Here's your saddle.
Yeah, here's the saddle.
See, that can be the Gandalf moment when he's fighting the Pikes on his own. Danny Trejo and a Rancor just coming over the crest of a dune. Like, yeah, that's how you end this series.
Oh, I think the series is going to end in a pretty big bang.
I mean, the way they're talking about it, I assume so. My biggest worry is, I say, it's virtually cemented now. I don't think it's going to have earned it.
Yeah,
I think it's how slow and it's. I don't even say mediocre because it's not bad. It's just dull. Like, it's.
Yeah, it all goes back to I think it could have been a shorter season.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's not even like short. It's just I think you just got to retool it slightly. Just jigger some stuff about. Like, it's all there. You just got to rewire it. But it's. I think it depends what it is. If it's something like, oh my god, this changes literally everything, then I think that's too much for this show. If it fits in line, like if it like Mando gives him the Darksaber or something, then yeah, that's enough for the show because that's a hell of a twist, a hell of a thing to happen for this character.
Yeah, and Mando still got the saber too. So,
as far as we know, yeah.
But I don't know if that's gonna happen so much because I think that's gonna play a part in the Mando series. So
yeah, that's the only thing though.
That would be great. That would be insane. Like him just showing up and saying, "I think you." Like, because Mando does not want it.
No,
he
which is kind of why you can give it to Boba Fett.
Yeah, he's like, I got other things to do. Here, just take it. Like you're a Mandalorian, so it would be interesting to see the interaction between Mando and Boba now.
Yeah, because not much. It hasn't been a long time, but he's kind of.
But a lot has changed.
What are you doing? Yeah.
There's been a bit of a change, and like especially with, and I'm sure Mando wouldn't care too much that he's a criminal, so to speak. It just would be a little bit of a, oh, so this is what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
I mean, it's a good asset to have. Like, oh yeah, I've got a friend who's literally a crime syndicate. Like, Lord,
Yeah.
It's fun.
Hey, and everybody, Han is not coming back. I seen the rumors. Stop.
I totally forgot about that.
Harrison Ford does not like the Star Wars universe. He is not coming back for the show. I'm sorry.
Solo died for a reason.
Yeah.
So
he wanted to die in Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back. He's not coming back. I'm sorry. Like, I seen the rumor. I seen the articles. It's like, that's not the surprise. It's just, I'll take it right off the board. That's not the surprise.
Yeah, I think honestly, if anyone believed that Solo was coming back, you need your head clonking against
Oh
something.
my god, yeah, like that's the antithesis of a clickbait, for sure.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
that's not even. I mean, like it's.
You
I
have
feel like
better
it's.
odds of Carrie Fisher coming back
I was gonna say
than you
you
do
yeah,
of
or you have
Harrison Ford.
the dead. Yes, the woman that passed away like years ago. The
Hmm.
character that has no interaction whatsoever, Boba Fett, has a better chance of showing up in the last
Yeah,
episode
yeah.
than Han Solo. I think
I mean,
you have a better.
she says she shares a scene with Boba Fett, doesn't she? Isn't she there when
Yeah,
Solo gets frozen and
yeah.
Boba Fett's there? There you go. Yeah.
I mean,
They've been
but
in
I think
proximity of each other before. It's
it
fine.
would be more interesting to see like Luke Skywalker maybe or Chewbacca come back.
Honestly, I'm fine
But
without any of the originals coming back. I don't think
that's
you
what,
need.
yeah. I think it's better off not having those characters come back because it's like, like they are trying to kind of move away from all that stuff
Yeah,
now. So
it's like you're already tying yourself to the damn timeline so
yeah.
much. Like,
I
don't
mean,
tie yourself
it
to
made
characters.
it made sense in the Mandalorian with Luke coming back, but yeah, look, it does in a way because
I mean,
like
I'm fine with it. Like, it's
it,
not quite a Deus Ex Machina, but at the same time, it's the least you could have done to have him not be one. It's like, oh hey,
yeah,
I've shown up now. It's like if you don't really pay
well,
attention, or you
yeah,
forget that Grogu called out for Jedi,
Jedi,
then
yeah.
there's no reason for Luke to be there.
It
It's
would be
like,
hilarious if it'd be hilarious if at the end of the episode it wasn't Luke, it was like Kit Fisto or something like that, and like,
oh,
like what?
honestly, speaking of that, I am not gonna be surprised. I don't know if it adds up timelines wise,
Uh,
but if Cad Bane doesn't show up,
I
or
mean,
like Hondo,
he's
like
a bounty hunter.
if
He is,
they give me live action Hondo, and then I'm bootlicking Disney for the rest of my life. Like Hondo I adore that character.
I'll tell you something later. But
Oh, oh, oh.
yeah, it would make sense if those characters did show up
Especially when
at
you've
some
got the
point.
Kenobi show coming out, and it's like Hondo Kenobi. Like, come
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
dude.
I mean, it's an easy way to introduce the character.
Yeah, yeah.
Like but
I'm more
yeah,
expecting more than just Mando next week. Like, I'm fully expecting maybe like Bo-Katan to show up as well, or at least another like Death Watch Mando to show up.
okay. Those are the two things that make sense. Is like a Mandalorian
Yeah,
showing up or Cad Bane showing up. It
yeah.
doesn't make sense when you say Han Solo or anybody else. It just doesn't.
No, no.
There's
If
no
it was
reason.
in like the prequel time and it was what's his face, like young
Uh,
Solo, sure,
yeah,
I can kind of buy that one.
that would be interesting, but it's that's too far. Like he's. I mean, by the time this show airs, he's dead, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's
he,
why I said like if it was earlier in the timeline, like if it was more prequel territory, I can kind of get it.
I,
But the
I
show's
guess
not
Han
there.
Solo is not. Yeah, I guess Han Solo is not dead now in the timeline
Oh
of the
no, because
story.
he's just
But it
about to
would.
have Ben, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a lot younger than what he is. I mean, it's gonna be hard
Yeah.
to de-age Harrison
I'll
Ford
say,
for that.
it's one thing to de-age Mark Hamill, who is only a couple of wrinkles. Harrison Ford is like a different person.
Yeah, he's like a raisin, like he has a lot of wrinkles to
He's,
smooth out.
he is old white man.
In dollars, it's like $4 signs. So,
Yeah,
like, but not, but yeah, it's not Han Solo.
no.
It's not anybody that is pertaining to the original trilogy. So it's like
I say
like
my bets are apart from Mando and a couple of other of the season 2 of Mandalorian Mandos. The word Mandalorian has been used so much in this thing at the minute.
mm,
But Kira, Cad Bane, Hondo. They're my
yeah,
three. I'm putting money on.
yeah.
And I know
Um,
the show's a bit out of time for Kira to really be a thing, but you can make it's easier to make someone look older than it is to make someone look younger.
younger. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He's cast on the older person. You
exactly.
can't. But like it would make more sense
Hmm.
for that. But like Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's interesting that the people are not like hype. I remember when they were hyping up Mandalorian, the season where Luke came out. Everyone was they were hyping it up big time. They're not really hyping this. I mean, granted, it's still kind of a ways off, before the last episode. But like, the producers of the show have learned the lesson not to extremely hype up this show, like the show ending to the point where people got expectations are like
I'll say
outrageous.
because Ming-Na Wen came out, or she had an interview that came out saying about how the end is going to blow people's minds, and it feels like they're trying to get people to watch it.
Yeah,
And it's like, well, the marketing should have done that, and your marketing should have been better because the marketing for this show was really bad.
it's non-existent. It's
Yeah,
very non-existent. Like
yeah.
it was more. It was more. Like they did the reveal of the show coming, and then after that, it was just kind of like
You had like a teaser and a short trailer, and they were like, "Oh
and then
yeah,
it
you've
went
only
dark.
seen the first 15 minutes of the first episode." It's like, so far, there's been nothing worth hiding in the
And
marketing.
yeah, but I think that's the problem. Is like up to this point, there's really nothing to advertise. Like a lot of
Yeah,
times when they do the
like
advertising,
it
they're
should
like it's
like
coming.
like at the least, it should have had Chrysanthemum in the marketing. It should have had the Huts. Because at least
Yeah,
then you get it's a false idea of what involves it, but you're like, oh, like how the hell are these going to play into it? Like, show the ship, tell people you're going to see how he gets the ship, and
yeah,
like that's all.
it,
That's it, and all the other stuff
yeah.
you said,
I think
everything.
that
It was bad
I think
marketing.
with with advertising, what the digital posters should be like. Character posters should be Mando, Fennec, Black. Can't remember last name, but
Chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum, the huts, and then the ship. But there's
Mm,
nothing though, really. There's a
yeah,
logo for like, and I don't know why they did that. I have no idea why
no.
that was the case.
No, because I
But
think they built a false expectation because it's like, oh, we're hiding all this stuff you've only seen the first bit, and it's like we didn't just see the first bit, the first episode. You actually showed a fair amount of the first episode in the market,
I think,
but like, why were you hiding? There was nothing to hide.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
so far, we're 4/6 of the way through, and there's nothing.
I think a lot of it had to do with a lot of the backlash with all the Marvel stuff that was advertised. Like they did a lot of like for the Marvel shows. Okay,
No, yeah, I was just trying to think of. Sorry.
I was gonna say like I think they, I don't want to say overhyped it, but they put it to the point, especially with WandaVision. I think that the Mephisto thing of it all kind of got out of control. And then like the expectations of the shows kind of like like was more than what the show was offering.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I think maybe they thought that the name alone could have sufficed for the
Which is
advertising.
weird because it should have.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
it's like, oh, we're making a Boba. I wonder if it doesn't help that people's. So obviously, Boba Fett's massive for Star Wars fans, and like, yes,
yeah,
Star Wars fans are kind of like multi-quadrant and far and
yeah.
wide. But I wonder if Mandalorian being a thing
I
kind of
think that.
hindered Boba Fett a little bit.
Oh, I know, 100%. I mean, I think the Mandalorian explosion really kind of hurt it a little bit because it's
Mm.
like before Mando, it was Boba Fett. That was the
I was
Mandalorian
gonna say
people
because it was
identified.
because wasn't the Mandalorian a repurposed version of the Boba Fett movie they were gonna make?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
They
obviously a heavily
rejiggered.
repurposed version.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But
like
like
they
that,
rejiggered a lot.
yeah, like the Boba Fett movie turned into Mandalorian. Now the Mandalorian's given us the Boba Fett show, but
But
ironically, the Mandalorian's overtaken Boba Fett.
I'll be honest with you, I prefer that way because the Mandalorian's more of a in-house, creation versus like
Yeah, they
I
got
think
more
they wanted
freedom
to.
with Mando than they do with Boba Fett.
Yeah, yeah. I think if they would have did the Mando script with Boba Fett, I think it would have been fun. Don't get me wrong, but I think then after that, what do you got? And then you
Yeah,
introduce
yeah.
their in-house character. I think they were prioritizing the in-house creation versus the already known IP, which I mean, okay, because like
it's fair enough. You can't just rely on
I think Boba
the
Fett.
stuff. You got to make your own.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's like I think Boba Fett. I think their thought was Boba Fett has an in-house fandom already. So whatever they could do with Boba Fett could have worked, and they just took that script and kind of like created their own character, which I'll be honest with you, I'm okay with. Like
I'm totally fine with it.
I prefer it
hated
that way.
the idea of the anthology movies. Hated it.
Yeah, it just feels like
It's just lazy.
It feels throwaway. Like you're gonna just throw away these characters and like
it's like how can we make money with the least amount of effort that would be guaranteed to make money, or at least we think would be guaranteed to make money, while we stall for time to what we do with Star Wars going forward.
Yeah.
So, make it. Here's a Yoda movie. Here's a Kenobi movie. Here's a Boba Fett movie. It's just like, okay.
And in a way, they kind of tried that, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, because we got Solo, and he just went
Solo. Yeah, I think again, I think Solo is a little underappreciated. I think the what happened behind the scenes overshadowed what they actually did with the IP. I'm outside the box. I'm biased, but I actually liked what they like because I seen bits and pieces of what Lord Miller had.
I like the setup with Kira and Maul.
Yeah. Well,
I think the rest of it was really unnecessary.
Well, I can say with confidence is like what I seen bits and pieces of what Lord Miller was offering.
Yeah.
It didn't jive. I mean, like I like them as like directors and writers, but like, did they mash well with the IP? No, it just didn't work. And then you got on top of that other stuff going on behind the scenes. I think what they salvaged with that was fine, and I think it kind of. I feel like it's got a cult following in a way.
It absolutely does, but
and I think it's better that way. Yeah, it's an obvious cash grab for sure. It's not.
I say it's too relying on being a prequel.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this thing. Remember this thing. Remember that thing. Here's Lando. We're gonna do this thing now. Why does he call the Falcon a she? Because it's got a female robot. Like, okay.
Plus, it's kind of unavoidable when it is a prequel. It's kind.
It is, but at the same time, you hide it.
Yeah.
Like, don't lean into it. That's not what we do.
I might be on the island a little bit alone, but I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it. I like, there's huge chunks of it that I was like, all right, I like with the Kessel Run thing and all that stuff. And
see the Kessel. The two most egregious things in this movie for me were you're on your own. We're gonna call you Solo.
Solo, yeah.
Lost me right off the bat. Kessel Run as well. Yeah, no, the Kessel Run kind of screws with what we know about the Kessel Run, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I thought the Kessel Run thing was kind of like, did it kind of run over a pretty big part of that character's origin? Yeah, sure, but it was funny. I didn't hate it. I just could have been done differently. But like,
I say it just seemed to happen.
It was sort of like it was like a chuckle. It was like a joke, a yuck.
It's like, this is the Kessel Run. Okay, cool. We didn't even know it was the Kessel Run. Cool. That's fantastic.
But to diehard Star Wars fans, it was like you just spat on the holy Bible of Star Wars, But like, I don't know.
I groaned a lot through that movie.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not like I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it as much as everybody else hated it. I've seen it multiple times, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's got moments that I like, that were pretty cool and fun, but like there were moments where I'm like, but like, that was just like that movie was kind of in like if you could get a movie out of it of whatever whatever mess that was in the beginning, sure,
I mean,
congratulations.
it's definitely a movie. They definitely managed to put out a movie.
It almost feels like World War Z, but a less successful version of that
I get it.
because
Yeah,
because the World War Z thing was like it was a freaking mess, man. You know, and like
yeah.
it was a Frankenstein movie, and to get a decent movie out of that was amazing. You know, like it's a good movie. You
Oh, I
know, to
never
watch.
watched World War Z.
It's a good movie. It doesn't come close to the book, but it's your typical, movie. But
It's
like
a zombie movie. Yeah.
but it wasn't as it to to turn out the way it did was amazing. It was a miracle that it turned out
Mm.
as decent as it was. And Solo, I think, in a way, is a less successful version of that because it's like they almost doubled the budget of that movie to just finish that movie to get it out, and
Yeah.
and to have it could have been worse. I'll just put a pin explanation mark. It could have been worse.
I mean,
It could have
the
been much
idea that
much
it could have
worse.
been worse is terrifying to me. But I
I
think
mean,
the problem
it's
with like
watchable. Okay, there's points of it that's watchable.
I mean, I've seen it once. I will never ever revisit that movie. And I think my biggest problem with Boba Fett is I feel the same way. Like
Yeah,
the way it's going, the way it's been, and I can't see it picking up a horrendous amount of steam in the next 2 weeks. But
yeah.
I feel like I won't have to go back and watch. Well, something like Mando, you can. It's such an easy watch, and like you can just jump around and like have it in the background, and like any
Yeah.
point, like yeah, this is. I love this crap. But
Uh,
this is like, yeah, no, like this is a one and done. I've seen it. I'll move on. I'll
I
remember
think
bits, like the important bits and the bit that
yeah,
stick out. But I'll never forget the train scene, the train heist. Oh,
yeah.
it's seared into my soul for the wrong
I
reasons, but
think
it's seared there forever.
I think that and I respectfully agree. With parts of that kind of the statement. Um, yeah, I think the thing is like it's almost like, and I'm not using this verbatim, but like it's like almost like Iron Fist. Like season one was a train wreck. A
I'm gonna
train wreck.
cut that out as well. No.
Sorry, wait a second. It was a train wreck, but the second season kind of.
This is far better than Iron Fist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is like for what it's worth. This is a show.
Obviously, I'm just using that as an example, like that I can
Yeah,
think of off the top of my head. But like, I think the course correction for whatever they use the character from here on in is going to be better than the
yeah, I
introduction.
can see that happening. Yeah,
I think the introduction was kind of and slow and unneedlessly slow sometimes, but like you know, I, is this what I wanted? Not entirely. No, I mean,
no.
in my mind,
There's
I pictured
nuggets
a
here.
more of a
There's
western.
really good, tasty nuggets in this show.
Yeah, in my mind, I pictured this more of a Italian Godfather gangster movie with
Yeah,
a
and I feel like
sprinkle of
that's going to be a
western.
season 2 if it gets one.
Yeah, and a sprinkle of western. Spaghetti western in that.
Yeah,
And I think that's what season two or whatever they do after this is going to be more geared towards. I think
yeah,
I always feel like the introduction of the first seasons of any show is usually the hardest to pull off successfully.
yeah.
It's and it's unfortunate that that it like it's just I don't know it's the I don't think it tainted the character more with I think it's just but it didn't do much to move it forward either. If
Yeah,
that makes
yeah,
any sense.
yeah.
I don't if that
It's
makes
done. It's not like
it,
it's hurt the character. It's given him. It's setting him up to have something to do.
yeah.
It's just
In the
taking its
future.
damn time getting there.
Yeah, again, I think again if you cut the season a little bit, like I feel like you could have condensed those first 2 to 3 episodes into maybe 1 hour and a half episode to kind of kick it off. But that's not the model for Disney. So I think they could have just condensed it. Maybe the
Hmm.
2 or 3 episodes, and then it probably wouldn't feel as sloggy as it would because you're like you got like when you watch those first 3 episodes, I think that was the slowy, really slow parts. You know, there was like a little
Yeah.
exciting here and there, but it was like for the most part, it was a lot of like like dream sequences and exposition. You know, and it's like I
Mm.
I wanted more of what the like what I can never think of the word, but like the bookends were giving us. I wanted that more integrated into the middle too. You know, you could give us the flashbacks, but don't make the flashbacks the bulk of the show. You know, the
Yeah.
bulk of the show,
Yeah.
the bulk of the show
100%.
is like usually that like like I love the beginnings and then the ends are like probably the best parts of the shows because it's like it's in the present time and like he's dealing
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
what's going on. The middle part is usually telling us, which it's cool. Yeah, I would like to see what happened to him between, Mando and when he got out of the Sarlacc pit. But I also think that it could have been shorter or integrated it better, into the show versus like
Yeah.
it feels like the 15-20 minutes of the show is like the flashbacks, and it's like
Oh yeah,
that's
it's
not what
definitely
we
like you got 5 minutes of him walking to the mayor's office at the start. You got 5 minutes of him walking back from the mayor's office at the end, and then
well
the 35 minutes in the middle is all Tusken Raider stuff. It's just like, okay.
I mean I do, like I said, I still like those parts. I still like the
I mean,
parts that
there's some good stuff
it's
there.
just
It's
it's just it's just not necessarily I think what people think when they thought of the show
yeah,
when it first was announced, and like at the very least we're not dealing with him walking anymore. He's now flying.
he's now sitting on a rancor where he's walking.
Yeah, and I think sometimes the detriment to some of these shows is like the last 3 episodes or 2 episodes are the more exciting parts of the
Yeah,
show.
it's I hate
It's
to
never
say
sprinkled over.
it's all the bad parts of the Marvel and DC, not DC, Marvel and
Yeah,
Star Wars shows over the last 2 years. It's
it's
like,
sort of like
no,
it's
this
sort of
should
like
have been it's the wrong lessons being applied. It's like, no,
yeah,
they're the ones you learnt that you shouldn't do. Do
yeah.
the opposite.
It
Like,
feels like the beginnings of the shows are like if you equate it to like a dinner, it's like the beginnings of the show are like the vegetables and the broccoli and the stuff that you don't want to eat anymore, but you got to eat a little bit, and then the last
mm,
episode is like that pot roast that you've been looking at for like the last 35 minutes. You've just been
mm,
staring at that thing going, can I dig into it now? And
yeah,
I mean, they are usually like, and I can't really say that they're usually good at doing that because seasons 2 of anything, with the exception of Mando, have come out. But like, I don't know. I always say that these first seasons are usually like huge exposition dumps. Like it's like
yeah, yeah,
a lot of talking, which is good because it brings a different flavor to the characters because when you see these characters most times it's like it's explosions and bombs, so they don't have enough time to talk, but like I think there's a good mix between talking and action. I think
yeah.
I think Hawkeye did a great job of that.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna do that, you need like really strong characters, and Hawkeye had
Yeah,
two really strong
strong
characters.
characters, yeah.
Mm.
And like and the supporting cast was good too, like everybody
Yeah,
around them, but
yeah,
like the main cast, like because like this cast bounce off the main characters, and like if the main characters are strong, like they can carry those other characters. But like
yeah.
I think Star Wars has that problem still. Like it's man, I like it's like
I say
Dune, dude.
this show has the actors to do like what Hawkeye done. It's
Yeah, I
the story hasn't really been there around it to do it.
hasn't been revealed. Yeah, yeah. Like, and it's just
Or at
like
least they chose not to do that. They chose to do something different. And I can understand that, but I think to be honest, I really think it's the concept of the Tusken Raiders to focus that much on Tuskens, on characters that don't talk and only one does, and he's talking to them and you have no idea what they're saying. Like, yeah, I think that was it's a big ask. It's a big ask
well,
of
I
people.
think they did a good job of it. At the very least, with the sign language thing, that was kind of a good way to meet people in the middle. You know, it's like
yeah,
but
maybe. Yeah.
but I think I and I'm not saying like Tusken Raiders deserve like all this time devoted to them, but I think when you tie the character to the Tusken Raiders, it's kind of hard not to tell that story. I think you could tell it a little shorter and not
Yeah, it
and
definitely
not
could have been
kind of
cut down a lot.
not blow it up a lot. I think it was just a little too bloated when it came. Like I don't I like what they did. I like they kind of expanded the Tusken Raider character a little bit more, but like I don't think it needed that much time to devote to it. You know, I
No,
think they
no.
could have. I think they could have moved along a little bit faster. But I mean, I'm not a writer, so I don't want to pretend to be a writer. But like
Yeah.
what they did was like it wasn't horrendous, but it wasn't what I
No,
what we
it's just
expected.
there's some. No, again, the show's not bad.
Yeah.
There's nothing horrendously bad about the show. It's just a rewiring.
But it's in the middle, though. That's the worst part, though. It's in the middle.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not.
Like that can almost be worse than being bad, though. Because like
I say when you're boring, it's like at least bad's
like
memorable.
when you're bad, you can almost like watch the movie and kind of riff on it and make it
Yeah,
good and fun, And like some of these things were kind of hard to get into, and I ran into this problem when I watched it the first time a while back, and like I had the luxury of actually seeing the whole thing in a whole, so it made it a little bit more easier to
yeah.
digest the slower parts.
I
But
mean,
like,
maybe it should have been a movie. Maybe ironically, Boba Fett should have stayed a movie.
yeah, I mean, again, condensing it to a 3-hour movie would probably be better. And like
And like have it
saying,
as a streaming movie, not a theatrical one, but a streaming movie.
yeah, I don't think this needed to be this would not be a good, because you spend a lot of money marketing a movie. It's like, no. I mean, streaming movie to get people back to get into streaming is good. I just, I feel like I say this every week, but it gets better, towards the end.
I mean, as I say, I'm expecting it to get better, just because it's like, as you said earlier, it's taking all the bad bits, the wrong lessons being learned. It's like, okay, everything's backloaded.
Yeah.
Like Hawkeye was really backloaded, but it had the characters to back up that first half, and it was fine.
Yeah.
And it worked.
It was
favor.
fun. Yeah.
Whereas this doesn't have. It's just the back half is loaded, so it's like I'm fully expecting it to pick up. I just don't know if it's going to pick it up enough.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. I mean, it could go balls on the wall, crazy by the end, But like,
because we're on episode 4 now, it feels like you've had your first act, but now we're in the third act. There's no middle bit.
Yeah. So there's 6 episodes. There's 2 more to go.
Yeah, we've got 2 left, but the first 3 are dedicated to being the first act. It is the slow setup.
Yeah.
And now we've just literally kicked into the third act at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think the minute they got the ship, I think that's an indication that like things are going to get a little bit more bombastic, or like, because like at this point, even if you do the flashbacks, what are you going to flashback to? You can't flashback to anything without going to Mando, because at this point he's rescued Fennec, right?
He's got Fennec, he's got his ship. The only thing missing is who was the guy that had his armor?
I know what you're talking about.
I want to say Cobb Vance. Is it Cobb Vance?
Cobb Vance, yeah. But like he doesn't. I don't think he. I mean,
like we don't need to see that because we've seen him get it back in Mandalorian.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I don't want to see him stalking Cobb Vance, like, because
there's no need for it.
There's no need for that. I think that would be the wrong move to do.
I tell you what, if they do that, you are absolutely going to hear about it next week.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
That's where I'm going to end it. I'm going to completely cut out This is my cliffhanger for Boba Fett.
This is done. We're done.
But yeah, thanks for stopping by. Hopefully YouTube monetizes this video. I don't know what YouTube's playing at recently, but it's. I know members are getting all of this part. YouTube is. I could play it to a strength and be like, hey, if you wanted the full series, go to the members channel. But I don't know. I like it having it on the main channel as well. But
I feel like part of the actual cast when it's on the main cast. I feel like an outcast or.
It's fine. But yeah, we will catch you in next week. So bye bye.
Bye bye.